YouTube, what the crap's going on? Welcome back to Waterloo, as soon as I can get tabbed in. Our good friend Crofarmer here sends us yet another replay. Very kind of him, and it's been too long since I've gotten one of his awesome replays up here and given you all some Total War, some Napoleon Total War. And honestly, after watching that Greenskin campaign reveal, man, that quest stuff, really wish you could go back in time. And I know they kind of did like a story thing for Napoleon Total War in the campaign, and it really was cool. But man, it makes me wish they could apply like some of that quest stuff to Napoleon Total War. It'd be pretty awesome. Give me just a second, folks. I'll be right back. Little Ayers' monitor was turned on. He was getting a little upset, but Mrs. Ayers in the other room tending to him, so he is taken care of. I'm not neglecting my son for a replay. So this will be fun. It looks like Crofarmer's playing the attacker. He's going to play as Prussia. Or what? What? Is this the direction the attacker's? Hold on. No, I was confused. He's playing Prussia. I was going to say I'm on the wrong side of the map. So Crofarmer as Prussia, 8 musketeers, 3 foot guards, an 8th life regiment, 2 Prussian fusiliers, 2 Landwehr, which is militia, 1 experimental howitzer. Ooh, experimental. I think that means it comes with quicklime shot, which ought to be interesting. And he has a Count von Isano. Let's see. So his teammate looks like Connor, who's playing as Great Britain. So yeah, he's got 14 foot. Woo! That's a lot of redcoats, folks. 2 fencibles, 2 lightfoot, 1/10 hussars, and a general staff. And across her, then there's a France and an Austria. So the France player is John Targier something. We're going to call him John. He's playing as France. 4 Swiss foot, 3 old guard. Wow. 1 young guard, 1 guard seaman. That is a lot of guards. 4 cuirassier, 1 6-pounder horse, and a general staff. And then the Austrian is 6 Hungarian fusiliers. 4 Hungarian grenadiers. Wow. That's interesting. 2 Grenzers, 2 cuirassiers. 1 Ulan 7-pound howitzer, and a general staff. So let's see who's taking buildings. Look at the French and the Austrian are taking up station in the buildings, and there is an experimental howitzer for Crofarmer, which is good, because if you don't bring artillery and the defenders come and capture these buildings, they can put you in a screwed up situation real fast. I'm going to close that for a bit just so we get a little more of a cinematic view. So here's the British troops pouring into the building. French troops, sorry. It's a Swiss foot going. I saw the red and was just thinking British here. A Swiss foot in that building, and then these 2 Hungarian grenadiers, not quite in that one. So let's see what happens. I'm going to fast forward because we'll probably have to get fast forwarded to get to the action. I'm assuming this experimental howitzer is going to come up and try and do some work. The enemy howitzer is raining down on the British Lightfoot here, and it's actually taking a toll on some of these hussars as well. And there you go. Oh, a building full of grenadiers. That's going to be nasty, like if you don't have artillery, because you have to go in and melee all these guys out, and that is not going to go well. So these 10th hussars, is it the 10th? No, is it the 10th hussars? Yeah, that have like the really long range guns. Because if so, he's way too close to those guys. He could shoot them from a lot further away. I think that is the one that has like the really long range guns on it. Can be a handy unit for harassing. Ooh, just took a cannonball through the center of the unit. Those guys are not having a good day. So yeah, it looks like the defenders are all camped out on the hill, ready to go. So let's see how Crofarmer and old Connor pull this off here. I'm going to fast forward for a minute. Yep, the experimental howitzer is now firing. Quick lime all over the building here, but no damage to the Swiss foot because they are, I think they're up inside here. Yeah, get out of there, you campers. Someone needs to get these guys some campers pampers. Oh man, the lame jokes. I think I got that one off The Simpsons long ago. Let's fast forward so we get another volley of quick lime on the way here. Let it rip. Come on, pack faster. You're not even sticking the ramrod in the cannon, you lazy oaf. Looks like this was an oversight by Creative Assembly. They didn't do the animations right for the little stunty guns here. Let's check out some quick lime up close, see if that's where he's going to fire. Oh yeah, this is where he's firing. Yeah! Gas those jerks. Only killed 1. And here's the unlucky chump. His head sticking halfway out the building. That looks awesome. Got the little smoke coming off. Let's see. The British player, I wonder if he's going to push. He has a ton of infantry, but pushing, and there's 2 players, and then all these grenadiers in that building. Those grenadiers. This is like, you know, these guys are like the type of melee units. This would be like knocking over all the bikers' bikes in the parking lot in an idiotic, like Pee Wee Herman-esque type move, and then coming into the biker bar and insulting all their mothers, and then hoping that you're going to fight your way out. That's kind of what you're getting in this situation here with the with all the grenadiers. Of course, if the British player had some howitzers or something, he could jack these guys up something fierce. But he is going to try and use his light infantry. But I mean, these guys have cover from the walls. They'll take damage, but it'll be slow. And then the artillery for the Austrian can just pound away. But you can destroy enemy buildings. I don't think the quicklime shot will do it. I think standard artillery is better for destroying buildings, to be honest. Let's fast forward for a minute and just kind of see what kind of movement, if any, we get. You got artillery fire on both sides. Looks like switch to explosive shot against the Swiss foot in here, and it's not doing a whole lot of damage. I know you can destroy the buildings. I don't know if it's just standard shot that destroys the buildings. Actually getting a few kills finally on the Swiss foot. Let's see, is he doing any damage to the grenadiers? It looks like it. Not much. Oh, very little. Oh my gosh, the British is just walking headlong into the grenadiers on their flank are shooting from the building, and then the Austrian fusiliers up on the hillside are just going to be mowing these guys down. And here comes French cavalry. It's a cuirassier. If the British player doesn't protect his flank, this could get pretty ugly. And if they form a square, they're just going to get ripped apart. Look at the artillery fire and the incoming shots. I mean, this is just nasty for the British player. This little force here is just going to get absolutely wrecked. And here comes the cuirassiers to make it worse. They definitely should charge in. The line infantry is going to need to form a square, which is just also going to get them hosed. But they haven't formed a... Or yeah, they finally did. So they finally form up some squares, so they can fend off the cuirassiers, but the Austrians on the hill and the grenadiers in the nearby building are going to be having a field day with these infantry squares. And if the artillery lands, then it just gets even better. So the French cuirassiers taking 15 losses. The British player is finally going to fall back. Yeah, never should have pushed this position where you had the grenadiers on your flank like that. You got to clear out buildings. And even just a standard line infantry in a building can be a big problem. Doesn't look like any of these units are firing. A lot of smoke, though, pouring from the... or am I just high enough up into being in the clouds? Look at the artillery ball bouncing off. Where's it going to land? Oh, there we go. Too bad there wasn't like a little rabbit or something right there, too. Would have been impressive. Alright. So, looks like more quicklime shot from the experimental howitzer, and it does not seem to be impacting... I guess the building protects the troops from quicklime. So, Crofarmer and his teammate are in a rough position here. They're going to get hammered by the enemy artillery. The British player definitely should have brought some artillery. When you're attacking on Waterloo, I strongly suggest bringing some artillery. Otherwise, the enemy can take full advantage of these 3 buildings, and they will jack you up. So, definitely recommend some guard units as well for when you do have to push this kind of stuff. Now, there was a good shot. These Swiss foot just took a bit of a shellacking. And it looks like the Austrian's going to push up some Hungarian Fusiliers. I thought he was about to bum rush and get in the building with his French buddy there, but let's see. So the British player hanging back. Maybe they're hoping to gain a little bit of advantage on this flank. Let's see what happens. Yep, the Austrian's just beelining it for the building. So man, the Austrian is completely sold on just like piling into the buildings with everything he's got. And here comes some musketeers. Going into a straight melee here is going to be a nasty, nasty fight. The Swiss foot are damaged, and there are a lot of Prussians in the vicinity. And honestly, I kind of think the Prussians should move up at this point and see if they can secure a position on the hill. Of course, they could just very well get overpowered. There's a lot of old guard. And if that old... Oh, yeah, the old guard's heading to the building. The old guard's going to be like those biker brawlers I was telling you about. Look at these poor Prussian musketeers trying to come in here and get into melee. They're getting shot by these dudes up on the balcony. They're having a field day. Swiss foot back in here. It's like a dang shooting gallery. Yeah, this is going to be an ugly, ugly fight. Let's look inside. Look at the Prussians trying to pour in the door. Physics does not apply in Napoleon Total War, folks. Let's check it out. Look at these guys all the way up in the attic. Man, sweet. I like having the unlimited camera where you can get inside the buildings and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So the French pushed up these old guard for support, and if they scare the nearby units, that's going to be rough. Yeah, these old guard, if they just push up closer, they can scare the enemy units. And there's even more Prussian musketeers pouring in. Let's kind of see where they go. Look at this courtyard of death over here too. More Prussians pouring in. Look at this. It's like a ball of Prussians. Now this house is going to need some serious cleaning when everything's said and done. Going to be a few blood stains in the floor. I can just see it now listed on the local real estate, like your local Waterloo real estate agent. Fixer-upper. Some cleaning required. Bring bleach. Oh man, that's great. So yeah, that is going to be a big nasty fight. Big nasty fight. I still can't believe these 4 grenadiers. They're like, dude, just do it. You know you want to. Those guys are looking for a brawl. Oh, the old guard. Or no, it's... Yeah, there is an old guard nearby. That's going to scare all these units, I would think. Oh, no, they're not getting scared, and this old guard's going to get overmatched here by multiple units. So this is actually a big waste of old guard right here. So this is going to be great for the Prussian. Yeah, quicklime looks like being fired at the old guard as well. And yeah, they got wrecked. The cavalry's going to come down the hill, but the cuirassiers are going to toss their riders into the middle of the squares because the horses rear up when they see the squares. Very cool. Got some quicklime hitting your own guys here. But, I mean, he's getting rid of the French cavalry. This old guard took a shellacking. If it could get some shots off at these squares right now, that would be pretty clutch. But here it looks like the British player is going to move up and protect this flank. Swiss foot's just firing indiscriminately into the building. They're like, hey, what should we do to help our teammates? And the captain in the unit here, he's like, fire, you idiots. Yes, sir. That guy is worthy of commendation from Patchy for just indiscriminately firing into his own teammates. That's the kind of man that it takes to lead an army for Patchy. Check out these old guard here duking it out with the Prussians. Get some sweet action here. They actually got pushed out with 43 men left, which for an old guard is a pretty poor showing. Okay, more Hungarian Fusiliers moving up in like a goofy column formation here, but hey, whatever. They're not under fire right now, so it won't hurt. Prussian's going to go ahead and start pushing up a little to try and gain position. The melee is slowly being won by the Prussians, but it is coming at... Well, actually, never mind. It's not being won. They're getting their butts kicked. Yeah, going into melee against a unit already staked out in the building is rough business. So it says they're winning, and maybe by numbers they are, but some of the units of Prussians in there are pretty beat up. We'll see how this goes. Here comes a Hungarian Fusilier. These guys are just going all in. Screw shooting when you got a bayonet. That's my kind of men right there. And look at the big blob they've created with all the Prussian musketeers. Very good job by the Hungarian Fusiliers there, I think. But now they're going to get shot. French cavalry gets caught on a square again. Once again, their riders rearing up at the last second. So Crofarmer doing a nice job on getting his squares there. Really jacking up the cuirassiers. There's another cuirassier there for cuirassier, whatever you want to call it there, for the Austrians. Comes some Hungarian Fusiliers. They're going to get charged by Landwehr. It looks like they're... I don't know if they were charging down into the Landwehr. They'll do fine there. Let's see. No units routed out of the building yet for the Prussian or the French. Looks like we got some explosive or quicklime shot coming in. This British foot's getting shot up by a Swiss foot here. The Hungarian Fusiliers, though, almost like seem to have lost their formation here. And the Landwehr is going to get more kills than it deserves there. They're kind of ignoring the Austrian over in this building. That's a good idea. If they can push over here, maybe gain some advantage on the French player, that's what they're going to need. If that experimental howitzer can land some quicklime shots on this old guard, it would be pretty clutch. They got close there, but not quite. They do have a good angle for the quicklime. It's just a little bit far away. When you're shooting the quicklime, you kind of want it to land and go straight down a unit like that, and that's going to give you the best effect versus quicklime. Need to close that real quick. Sorry, I'm tabbed back in here. So yeah, looks like more quicklime inbound. No real kills there. Got some Prussian Fusiliers getting some decent shots there on the old guard. That's well worth it. Austrian cuirassier threatening to charge, and it looks like the French player is going to pull more units. If the Brit kind of well, they can't put too much pressure because the Austrian could collapse the flank, but the Brit has so many units that it looks like they can easily just kind of stand off from the Austrian. I mean, the Austrian does have artillery, and it can pretty much fire indiscriminately forever. So that's kind of a risky position to be. Or actually, did the French get the Austrian artillery? No, not quite. So yeah, the Brits are going to take a bit of a beating here from that artillery. But it's better than taking your whole army head-to-head. Look at all the units piled into this building. Hungarian Fusiliers, Hungarians. Let's go take a look in the brawl shack here. All the way up into the attic. Look at the attic. This isn't the way Mom left it. Oh, I think he just stabbed that guy in the junk. That is ugly. Look at that guy running up a ladder with a musket in his hand like it's nothing, and only to get stabbed at the top. I mean, that was a pretty impressive display until you pulled that off. Look at these guys. They're like, hey, we don't really want to fight you right now. Dude, I'm cool. I've got my head sticking through the roof. This brawl shack is where it's going on right here. Brawl shack, baby, brawl shack. I don't take crap. Oh, Air's singing more bad songs off key with his own lyrics. I'm pretty sure that my subscriptions just started like dropping down there at that point. Let's see who we got in here. We got a foot versus a Swiss foot. So a British foot versus Swiss foot. I would think the British foot would do well in melee here, but it is coming in against them. Check out these Swiss guys out here. This guy doesn't need a balcony to stand on. He's like, dude, I walk on air. I don't just breathe it. Anyway, lots of fun stuff going on in this battle. Let's see what we got out here. French cuirassier. Old Guard must have mopped up some of these units, and it looks like this fight's finally kind of turned in favor of the Prussian, but I mean, just look at this. These Swiss foot still like trapped in here while the Prussians are stabbing them all. Go for the nuts. Go for the nuts. Do it. Remember your training. Below the belt or nothing else. Alright. Looks like the Prussian player's mopping that up. So this is going to allow him to maybe put a little bit of push on the French player. The Brit has taken some losses here, but this Old Guard's getting fired on by these musketeers who are in very nice position. So nice job there. And it looks like there's a guard seaman. Let the jokes commence. I'm not even going to do that one. I'm going to let you all take care of that. I've got to keep my bad jokes to some extent. Yeah, it looks like they're under some artillery fire too. Who's charging them? Landwehr? Awesome. Like the meat shield there. Anyway, looks like the Old Guard is getting close to dying. The Guard seamen are getting bombarded here. Let's see. Old Guard coming into melee. You know this is going to be good. Their numbers are pretty reduced, but they still ought to be a pretty darn strong force in melee. But I mean, numbers, you know, they can make a difference if the Old Guard is just badly outnumbered. But it looks like, no, they're going to carry that. They are just absolutely wrecking the musketeers in melee. So, yeah, getting into melee with an Old Guard who has the charge is definitely going to be rough for most other infantry, unless you outnumber the enemy infantry, or the Old Guard quite badly. Yeah, you can see these Old Guard, they are going to mop this up. Definitely a great Guard unit. They're my favorite Guard unit in the game. Coldstream Guards are also pretty darn vicious. So, yeah, still Prussia having a little bit of trouble mopping this up. A unit of Swiss foot still stuck in the brawl shack. Let's see, some Austrian cav trying to punch through the British lines here. The British general staff in some danger. It is an Ulan, and it has a straight line to the experimental howitzer, so this is going to be a devastating loss for Crofarmer. He's sending his general staff to intercept, and he should. He's got to save that unit. So offering up Count von Isenau as a sacrifice to the gods, hoping to stop the charge on his howitzer, but it is just not going to work. So these Ulans hit their mark, and that's probably the end of the experimental howitzer. What I say probably, it is. So at this point, the general should probably just flee to safety. Ooh, they're not. They're going to get charged by the Ulans. Well, at least the British general is. He's going to take a nasty charge there. Count von Isenau probably could have doubled back around and finished off the Ulans at that point, but best to just let this foot shoot the Ulans. Looks like the British general... No, he's not going to survive that. He got torn up. But his unit of foot over here can do it. So that is a crappy loss for Crofarmer, losing the experimental howitzer. He needed that. This old guard here is not being microed properly, and it's going to get shot up by the foot guards over here. So that's going to be a nice catch for the Prussian player. Let's just see how it's going. I mean, there is still a lot of Austrians on the map. There's also still quite a few British units. I don't know if they have enough to pull this off or not. I mean, those grenadiers in that building, that is going to be a problem, and they no longer have any artillery to deal with them. Let's see what's happening here. These cuirassiers were almost like feinting a charge, and it looks like that Crofarmer was quick on his square, so that was good for him. Over here, these foot guards are trying to kill the old guard, but there is now a cuirassier on the way. They're going to need to get into a square formation, if at all possible. If they do not, this is going to be a big loss, losing the foot guard. Looks like they are going... Well, they may not be able to form a square because they're so damaged. And now they're going to die. Yep, sucks to be these foot guards. So yeah, those guys are definitely going to eat it here. Let you all check that out. Yeah, these poor guys are surrounded by all kinds of heavy cavalry wearing the metal cuirass there, so it's... Yeah, those guys are dead. Look at this Swiss foot. Where are they holding out at? Look at these guys like... This guy's like, you can't have my shack. It's mine, fool. Ah, that's funny. Is anybody still in the attic up here? Like... Nope. Everybody in the attic's taking a nap. These guys on the second floor are getting a break. I don't even know where the fighting's taking place anymore. Everybody's just like all split up across the brawl shack. Oh, look at that. The French cavalry comes into some squares. It's going to get jacked up. The Austrian cavalry manages to get away. General coming over here. Maybe that'll help get rid of the last Swiss foot in here. But yeah, the British player is going to do a little push over here. With all the grenadiers like bottled up in there, it's not a bad idea just to maybe leave a couple of units to keep them honest and then pull away. But I mean, that artillery from the Austrian has just been sitting here hammering the British player. Definitely should have pulled back a little bit and tried to stay on the outside of that range. This young guard's getting shot up by multiple units from multiple directions, so it will lose here. The 6-pounder horse is moving up perilously close to all these infantry too. Don't think this was a good idea. May have been hoping to get some canister shot by bringing it up closer, but yeah, I think this is just going to end up getting these guys killed. I don't know if they'll even be able to get a shot off it. I mean, if they do and it's like on the canister shot this close, I mean, it is going to do a lot of damage. But let's see if they get the shot off. Nope. So the horse artillery wasted. General staff in a precarious position here too for the French player. So this could spell doom for the French player. Don't see but this single Swiss foot left, and oh, the general staff getting an excellent charge here into the musketeers, sending some of them on a free flight from Waterloo International Airport here apparently. But the Count von Iceno getting in here against the French general staff, but then going to pull out, let the square do its work. It's probably a smart move. Need to keep the Count safe if they're wanting to win this. British player has pushed. Got some melee going on here with what's left of the young guard and the British foot. So the British player does have a lot of line infantry, so I'm just curious to see what happens with this crazy building full of grenadiers over there. That's going to be a dang mess. So general staff from France finishing that off. Looks like the British are taking a building there, but you know they could just end up getting pounded by artillery, so I'm not sure if that really works out. Let's see what happens. So it looks like the British and the French are going to push up the hill. These British troops are pretty out of position, and they are getting hammered by the Hungarian Fusiliers across the way there. Hungarian Fusiliers are not bad shooting infantry, and then with the support of these Grenzers, there's actually going to be a considerable amount of firepower getting poured into the British over here. This is definitely not the position that they want to be in. They're just going to get their troops shot to crap right here. But the Austrian player is rather limited on what troops he has left. But then again, you know, the Crofarmer and Connor here don't have a particularly huge number of troops left either. Let's see what this is. Musketeer. Count von Iceno is nearby, but with these Grenzers, again, the firepower is going to be quite strong coming from the Austrian side. These musketeers are going to try and fall back and form a square, I would assume. Yep, there they go. But it depends on whether or not that cav is targeted on the square or at Count von Iceno. May have been targeted at the enemy, or at the Count. And if so, that was a nice save by this musketeer, because that could have been bad. It's looking like a pretty close game here. I think Austria honestly has the edge. They've got a lot of grenadiers. If they would just pull those grenadiers out and attack, I think that Austria would be in extremely good shape. If they don't, Austria is going to sit here and potentially get overwhelmed. British foot coming into melee against the Hungarian Fusiliers. It's going to depend. The British do not have the numbers to win that fight. And this British foot's getting overwhelmed by Grenzers and Hungarian Fusiliers. We'll see if these musketeers can pick up the flank, but they've still got to worry about this cuirassier back here. The British general is dead. They're concerned about friends routing, and these British foot back here are already wavering, so this one is going to look like a victory for Team France-Austria. So I think the defenders are going to pack this one up and take it home. A valiant effort on the part of Crofarmer, and if nothing else, the Brawl Shack was absolutely worth it. I am a little bit sad, almost to the point of tears, that I didn't get to see the Brawl Shack. I just look what was waiting in here. Brawl Shack Part 2, the story that never got told. Well, I don't know. Are we putting together a new push here? This one may not be over yet, folks. If they can get rid of that Austrian artillery, man, that's going to be a massive help. The British player is way too bunched up. Going to take a nasty charge from the French bodyguard here. And the French bodyguard is going to cause all kinds of trouble for the British player. Oh, these cuirassiers are going to get in here and just absolutely mop the floor with these foot. Heavy cavalry will just wreck infantry that's not in square. And that's what these guys are going to do. Gotta love those heavy cavalry charges. Ooh, someone just got exploded by a howitzer. Well, I thought maybe there was going to be a second wind here from the British player, but it is not. This is going to be a slaughter. And these cuirassiers are going to get a lot of kills here. Definitely the right place for them to be fighting. Close-up combat from units that can't form a square. And there's just going to be some pretty serious wreckage going on. Count von Iceno, don't know if he's dead or not. But if he's not, he soon will be. He's having to run from cuirassiers. He's going to hide behind the square, which is pretty clever there to draw the cuirassiers into the square. But I do believe it is too late for the Count. I don't know if that's him still in this unit. I don't know who's who in this unit. He may be dead already, too. I think the Count's still here. I just don't know which one's him. Yeah, look at him trying to push the cuirassiers back. Yeah, it's over. And these grenadiers never even have to do anything. They're like, dude, we just came and sat in the building, kicked back, relaxed for a while, dreamed about a device called the television that would have been fun to watch while we were in there, and so on. These grenadiers, though, seriously. Imagine how cool it would have been. Can you throw grenades from out of a building? If you could, that'd be pretty sweet. If these guys were set to fire at will on grenades, and like the British approached the building and got hammered by a volley of grenades, it would have been ugly. Let's watch the grenadiers finally come out. They've been sitting back, taking a nap, resting, you know, writing letters to their moms, all that kind of stuff.
Our men are running, sir.
I'm sure they are. And they're not my men. Anyway, looks like the British player is going to go down in a valiant defeat here. Is Count von Iceno alive? Well, he's not now. I still haven't seen the general died thing. Maybe that's the Count right there in the white. Yep. Well, it was one of them. So Count von Iceno died. No, okay, that was the Austrian general staff. Never mind. So one of them killed the Count. The British bodyguard's still alive. And these howitzers who did get a ton of kills. Look at the chevrons on these guys. I think they had 4 to start with, though, to be fair. The Austrian general's going to come in and launch a couple of those foot. The British general trying to intervene, but there goes the British general. So this is beyond over. Good game to France and Austria here. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Appreciate Crofarmer sending it in. He's always got some good watching for us. And tell me what you think of the Brawl Shack. Have you ever gotten into something like that on Napoleon before? Look at that. The Austrian player got a lot of kills there. A lot of kills because of I'm sure the artillery played a pretty big role in that. Let's see what happened here. So foot guards, pretty well. Count von Iceno did not get a ton of kills. Yeah, so the foot guards did the most killing for him. The rest of his troops struggled a little. Appreciate him sending this one in. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.